What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Down the Rabbit Hole podcast. I'm your host, Bruce Neal, your co host here, Anthony Lucas. As always, we're just, trying to create some controversy and just speaking our minds. And today we got another interesting topic. And I'm going to actually kick this one off. But today's topic is, propaganda, the news that which is basically 90% of the news these days, right? It's just propaganda. We're going to get into that, maybe get into some things that are currently happening right now, and just my thoughts on them. Let's start right away with something that people are somewhat talking about on social media a little bit: the whole Ukraine Russia thing, right? And I sent you that video. I don't know Russian, right? I don't know Russian, so I don't know what Putin's really saying there if the subtitles are correct, but because anybody could fake that too, right?
Yeah,
But
yeah.
from what it said in the video, it seems like Russians and like Putin said he basically is not going to entertain like fake news is what he said. So like, and I also heard this from some other video. I don't wish I knew which one it was. I just stumbled on it on YouTube. Someone had the same theory, or I don't know if it's a theory, but maybe it's a fact. I don't know anyone in Ukraine or Russia, to be honest. But I'm trying to find someone on Facebook that I know from Russia or Ukraine, so I can ask them like, "Hey, what's really going on over there?" Because
Yeah.
you really can't believe anything the news says these days. You really can't. It's they just lie too much. They got caught in too many lies, but you don't really know who to believe. You really don't know who to believe. You just know there's a lot of propaganda out there. But that's interesting because I know Biden also, if I'm not mistaken, he was one who said it. One of his recent things, he said something about Russia's gonna do a false flag and basically pull a false flag thing to in order to invade Ukraine or whatever. He said something like that. And then someone in this video I was listening to said that was actually the false flag itself. The false flag itself was Biden, or was them pretending that Russia's doing some stuff with Ukraine and they're really not, right? I don't know, man. What are your
Yeah.
thoughts on this, bro?
I mean, to be honest, bro, like Russia is literally like the king of fake news, bro. Like they they run so much propaganda and so much fake news just to kind of like confuse American citizens and confuse, the world. So you can't really believe anything that comes out of Russia. Like, you know what I mean? Like I just don't believe them. Like they spy on everybody. They cause a lot of a lot of grief in the countries. And to be honest, bro, like they're like the 50 Cent of Instagram, bro. Like, they're trolls, bro. Like I mean, that's clear cut. That's all you can really say about Russia. And with this war that's going on, I mean, it's 100% going on. Like they are putting troops on borders. They're definitely setting things up. But my thing is like America is coming out like the only thing I don't like that America is like coming out of this like, oh, we didn't know this was going to happen. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, I knew something was going on. Come on, don't play innocent here. And then and to be honest, man, like I know this is not the subject, but like Russia is really not wrong, bro. If you think about it. So like see what NATO is doing. NATO has been growing all over Europe. They were supposed to stay on the east side of Germany, but they moved over. So it's like, I mean, can you really say this is fake news? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like on this side, like I don't know, because NATO is like taking over Europe. They're setting up on Russian borders, and Russia now is like, nah, hold on, you ain't about to do this. But so
Yes.
like I get where Putin is in Russia, but like again, the guy's a choice. He said he was gonna invade this day, and he doesn't. He's gonna invade this day, and then he doesn't. And now they supposedly this morning he did invade, but like it's not really talked about. You know what I'm saying? I feel like if Russia really invaded Ukraine, like why are we not talking about it? Why is it not all over social media? Why is it not all over people saying it's just like one article came out, CNN and like all the other people, Fox News posted, and then that was it. Like the world just kept going on. You know what I mean? Like so, it's just like man, the whole news and propaganda, man. It's just I hate it, man. You know what I'm saying? Like I wish there was like real, you know,
Journalism.
non, I don't know, like non-democratic or republic news stations. Like, you just report news. Why do we have to have CNN as a democratic news reporters? Why do we gotta have Fox News as Republican news reporters? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just, come on, bro. Like, get rid of
Yo,
all that stuff.
imagine if America is the only one right now talking about this or even acknowledging it. Like, what if it's so fake that only America is acknowledging it? And what if it's a cover up? Like, what if it's just to mask what's really going on with that trial with the Epstein and the connections and who it's connected to, people in power in Great Britain, people in power in America. What if it's just all this random things that might be happening, including this,
Mhm.
invasion that has nothing to do with America? Why we even mind our damn business, even if it is happening, right? Mind our goddamn business unless it's directly affecting us. But it could be just a big distraction because they're known to do that. They're known to
Yeah,
pump out a lot of propaganda so that we don't pay attention to what's really happening behind closed doors because they're not even talking about that whole thing anymore. Like they're
yeah.
really not talking about it as much. They're
No,
trying to bury it. You know what I mean?
yeah. I mean, it does have a lot to do with America, because Ukraine. So pretty much all of the countries that like Russia had in like a stronghold kind of went to NATO, and like America and NATO are like playing like the innocent role, like, hey, look, we didn't recruit anybody; they wanted to come to us, type shit. But if the biggest reason with Ukraine is like, if America takes over Ukraine as a NATO ally, then we start moving, ballistic missiles. Now, the average ballistic missile can go about 350. So now, if we set up ballistic missiles on Russian borders, we can literally hit them from, north to south of Russia, and we can hit them from both coasts. So, like, if we really wanted to invade Russia, we could. So like that's why they like really like America's like involved in it, but they're not involved in it because Ukraine wasn't like NATO until like last month. So like they knew I think what they're doing with this is another cover up for coronavirus. Like they knew coronavirus is coming. Hey, like the markets is going to crash. Like what I'm saying, like we're in trouble economically. So I think they're using like COVID, they use COVID as a backup to a crash, you know what I'm saying? And then now, what I think is like what makes more sense is that they're using this war as another backup for another crash. But what they're going to do is let this get a little out of hand. So, like, US can easily send, we can easily send 100,000 troops and match their troops with Ukraine. And then we can smash Russia on this border war. You know what I'm saying? But they're not doing that. They're just sending over weapons and ammo. Like they're like, hey man, yeah, just take these, anti-aircrafts and take these tank destroyers and these. You know what I'm saying? So like they're pretty much like setting Ukraine up for failure because I think what they kind of want them to do is kind of take like half of Ukraine and then US comes in and smokes their boot. You know what I'm saying? Because with that, then we can, say it's an economy crash and all this other things and recover. Because like you said, like you've been saying on the podcast, man, you don't take that much money out of the market for no reason. You know what I mean? Just don't.
Yeah, yeah,
Just don't take money like that out of the market if you don't know something's up. And what we've been doing this podcast for, I want to say, what, a month now? Maybe a month
yeah,
and a half. So they knew something. We said something was up a month and a half ago. You know what I mean? A month and a half ago, we said something was up. This is the something that was up. This is what we were talking about on episode 2, episode 3, when we're saying like, hey man, we don't know what's going on yet. Now we know what's going on. They're using this,
yeah.
all this propaganda. They're using all this news to just smoke the markets, bro. Like and they make a quick come up again. But I think this crash that's going to come, or whatever market crash is going to come, is going to be a lot worse than COVID's crash, man. A lot worse.
Yeah, I think so. I think so, and I think yeah, definitely propaganda is heavily used to manipulate the economy, the markets, the whole entire financial system, basically. So I agree with that. But it would be crazy. I honestly think with this whole Ukraine. I don't know. I'm going more based off, I guess you could say, like intuition. I guess because I don't have facts. I don't think anybody really has facts for this scenario, because you can't believe the news
No.
media. Even their facts are not really real facts. And the only way to really know is to know someone that is in that proximity, which is cool because we live in an era where you could actually, like, I'm going to find someone that lives in Russia. I've done this before, where I remember I saw this video, um, some propaganda video talking about, oh, shit's getting crazy in Australia. Oh my God, they're forcing kids to get the vaccine now, and they showed some video, and it looked like it. You see this, like, adults fighting, like, with some kind of, police force, and there's kids there, so it really looked like it was real.
Yeah.
So I remember for like a brief moment, me and Marisol were just like, "What the hell? They're forcing kids to get the vaccines in front of their parents in Australia and New Zealand. What the hell is going on here?" Now, most people don't know anyone in Australia and New Zealand. Well, I used to have a pretty solid big team in Australia and New Zealand, so I reached out to every single one of them, and they're like, "That's false." They're like, "That's not even going on over here." They're like, "Yeah, there's probably dumb." They're like, she told me, she's like, "There's probably dumb parents out there that are, willingly lining up to get their kid a vaccine or whatever, but no, that's not true." So, like, it's so easy to lie
Yeah, for sure.
these days. It's so easy to lie, and not only that, it's actually, I would say, it's actually easier to lie, not for nothing, because I can't speak of other countries because I'm not really from other countries. I really don't know. Other countries could be great, amazing, I have no idea. But um Americans are very easy to fool. It's been very
Yeah.
obvious already. They're very easy to fool. You can kind of put anything on a TV screen, and CNN or whatever, and they're gonna believe it. You know what I'm saying? But it is just a big game, and maybe it's for multiple purposes, to mask up what's going on over here, to mask up what's going on over here, to distract, to confuse, right? Because the more confusion that's in the air, the more you can profit. This is something I literally heard not too long ago, and when I heard it from, I forgot who I heard it from. When they said that, I was like, "Wow, that makes a lot of sense." The more confusion you put in the air, the more profit, the more profit there is. And I
Yeah.
was like, "Holy
Yeah.
shit!" So, like, that's what they're doing. They're just like throwing a whole bunch of things to confuse people out there. Like, you got this going, this going, this going. It's like everything's going on. You don't even know what to pay attention to. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? You don't even know what your goals are looking like anymore. You know what I'm saying? Because you got all this crazy shit happening in the world. But I don't know. It to me, it would be absolutely crazy, and I wouldn't be surprised if no one talks about the Ukraine Russia thing in a matter of just a couple of weeks, maybe a couple months, and it literally goes like swept under the rug somewhere, and no one talks about it, and no one knows what the hell happened. I have a feeling that's gonna happen.
No, yeah, for sure, man. I just think that like I said, man, I just something doesn't feel right about this one. You know what I'm saying? Like Biden getting on there and calling this is once Russia attacks, this is going to be World War III. Like, who else is going to get involved in this? Like, is China really going? Like, even if we get like, let's think about this. Even if we go to World War III, right? And let's say Russia and China does so happen to world war, who's going to be in charge? Russia or China? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you think Putin's going to let China just take charge? No.
I mean, who was in charge after the first two world wars?
America.
Well, technically, I guess you could say, as far as like the standout country, but technically not really, because no one is in charge of no one. Still, they all
Bro,
still have their own countries and their
you're
own,
tripping.
structure.
America runs this fucking world, bro. NATO
Yeah,
is
I'm not.
a
Look, I'm not
American.
saying, if there's a scale of, countries, we're at the top. But what I'm saying is, at the end of the First World War and the Second, everybody just went back to their own perspectives countries and just kept doing their business and improving their country in whatever way they can. That's that. It's not like one country took over the other one and changed the laws or anything like that. So I wouldn't
No,
even
no.
expect that to happen. Even with World War III, it would just be like the same as the last two times. It would make the market crash. Some people will die,
Yeah.
right? Soldiers, whatever, and then the war is over. Economy goes back booming back up. Everybody's back in their countries, back to whatever they were doing
Yeah.
originally in their countries, and that's it. That's what happened the last two world wars. So that's the only reference we have, right?
That's
So
that's because America, like, so man, look, like, America is very subtle in their military and what they do to take over the world. Like they have America has done a very good job at playing in all this. Bro, NATO is fucking huge, bro. Like NATO is literally all Europe now. It's literally, there's not one country in Europe that's not part of NATO. So it's like when you think about this, like ever since that Second World War, America has been expanding their borders. So if you think about it, like it is America, like America expanded from America to Canada, then from Canada to Europe, United Kingdom, all that stuff. Now also, if we really wanted to, like, you can say Mexico is an ally because if somebody comes over here, Mexico has to join up with us. You know what I'm saying? Like if it was really becoming a threat, because where are we gonna fight our war if you come here? We're gonna fight our war in Mexico. So like, if you're gonna try to take over America, you're not just gonna come through the West Coast. Like the best place to come through is through Mexico. So now, like, if we're gonna fight a war, we're gonna fight a war in Mexico. And Mexico doesn't want that. Like, you don't want fucking two countries fighting. So it's either you're gonna have to join us. You know what I'm saying? So and then also Cuba. People try to take over Cuba, but like Cuba's not that big. Like you can only fit so many ships and people on Cuba. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, what are you really gonna do on Cuba? You know? So it's just like America strategically really planned for this, taking over the world. And then, like I said, man, like why do you think Russia or China's not a like hasn't took over the world yet? Bro, they can barely handle their own countries. You know what I'm saying? So it's
well,
like
I wouldn't say America is trying to take over the world, but yeah, the
100% they are.
a certain group of people in America that are at the, I guess you could say, you know, the power, the level of power, I guess you could say, the politicians, whatever they're doing. Yeah, the bankers, those guys. Yeah,
Yeah,
those guys have a plan of world domination.
yeah.
We know that, but we also know that those guys aren't just America. They're actually a lot of major countries.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. NATO, like,
You know,
so they're gonna make NATO take over like the world.
the
Like that's what's gonna be.
Illuminati, what we are just talking about in the last podcast. You know, the Illuminati, these people, the secret societies. Those
Hey,
people
bro, you
are in
think
all
that's not?
countries.
You think that's not NATO?
Yeah, that's for sure. It's anything.
Yeah.
It's everything you can think of.
All right. I was about to say, yeah, yeah, that's them.
It's anything and everything you can think of, right? So
Yeah.
I wouldn't say America's world going after world domination. It seems like just a certain group of people that are going through any country. Doesn't matter what country they use. They'll use any country to get ahead to get to world domination. They use
Nah,
all countries.
America.
You know what I'm saying? Like they'll use
America wants to
anything.
control the world, bro. Like so, like they want our beliefs, our democracy. They want our like, and they throw it out to say like they use the word democracy, which and again, like the way we run it is not bad. Like you know what I'm saying. Like we do let countries make their own decisions, certain extent. You know what I'm saying? But again, there's just it's just like this one thing, like what I'm saying, like they can't get past, like it's the arrogance, like what I mean, like so like you can see it all through like NATO, like how like the Illuminati things, I want to have world domination. The news, you can get all through there. Like, when you talk about the news, there's only one company that owns all the different news stations. There's what, two or three companies that owns, Hollywood, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's like, why is that? Like, how does that happen? There's one
And
company or two or three
like
companies.
think about that because I was talking about that earlier with Marisol. I was also talking about that. Like I was like, yo, it's kind of crazy when you think about like these major media
Hmm.
platforms, Google, YouTube, TV channels, stations, radio stations, the major ones are owned by like these same people. I was like, yo,
Yes.
that's crazy because like they could literally make people think whatever they want. They
Yes.
can make anyone famous. Like they can make me or you famous anytime they
Yeah.
want. They could just put us on everything.
Hey, bro, I
Boom.
tell people that that's cool. Like, people think, signing your soul over to the devil is like you're like literally signing your soul to the devil. No, those people are the devil, bro. Those people are the devil, and once you become famous, or you tell them that you want to become famous, you're signing your
Through
soul.
them, yeah,
Signing your
through them,
soul.
yeah, yeah.
That what?
No, I'm saying through them. Like
Yeah, yeah,
if you
through
want to
them.
be if you want to make it through them, that's what you're doing. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And that's the only way to make it, man. Like think about all the people that are like making it through, like the people that you see on news stations and stuff like that.
Nah, I mean, look at Elon. Elon,
Yeah, but
I don't think,
Elon's different though, bro. Like you know what I'm saying? Like
yeah,
that's a different.
he's not with them. Um, there's a lot of wealthy people I heard, like from my research that I've done. It's literally I heard split 50-50. Like I literally
Nah, no
heard
way.
top richest people in the world,
Yeah,
50% of them actually want the world to be good, and 50% of them have that same mindset of keeping
yeah,
people low, being in control. And this is like, a lot of, like, I do a lot of research in like every single day, and I forgot where I stumbled on this series of videos from these, whistleblowers, they call them, that used to work for, different departments of the government, stuff like that, had access to all types of files and stuff like that. But man, we got to talk about that probably in the next podcast, I would say. Or you know what? Maybe we could pull it up now. It was a short video. David Icke, right? So it's a guy who this is kind of a little off topic, but not really, because we're just talking about, like, this group that wants to take over the world, and they're the ones pumping out this propaganda.
hmm
So it's the same topic, right? They're the ones that are pushing out all this stuff, whether it's fake news or real news. Um, David Icke is a guy who's been like kind of exposing this stuff for like decades now. He's like, I think he got to be like in his 60s or 50s now, late 50s, but he's been doing this thing since way back. He has this short video I bumped into where he said, it was from a whistleblower. Someone bought a used copier machine off the market or whatever. This is in the 90s, when computers first came out, stuff like that. So he big ass copy machine or printer, whatever the hell it is. He bought it. Some bought it. Somebody bought the copier. In the copier, they had leftover files, papers, right? So this guy, the whistleblower, read these papers, and it was literally the plan of how those people were going to take control over society using all these sources. It was crazy. It was like literally written out. The way what he read and everything he said, it literally, and this is back in the 90s. So you can look at it now and be like, damn, this shit, everything he said happened.
it's happening.
Like,
Yeah.
holy shit, you know what I'm saying? Like, bro, I think we could probably find it. But go to pull it up. Go on YouTube real quick. I'm gonna see if I can search for it myself so I can get you the exact title. But type in David Icke. You know what? It might be in my history. Oh no, it's not in my history. That was on Instagram. Let me see if I can find it on
That
David Icke. Icke. Trying to see if I can find this.
all right. So, oh yeah, yeah, I know this guy.
Yeah, he's always out.
So what do we?
I'm looking for it right now. Just hold on one second. Let me see if I can actually find it. Probably,
Yeah, I definitely
probably.
seen this guy before.
Yeah, he reveals a lot of shit, but he knows what's really going on. Like I like his main quote. He said that, and I've been saying this, since the revolution is not with guns. That's not how we're gonna change anything. The revolution is with consciousness. We have to raise our level of consciousness. That's the revolution. But he exposed their whole plan, bro. Like their whole plan, everything, and it's crazy. This was like in the 90s, right? And he's still at it to this day, revealing and exposing a lot of shit. He's exposed a lot of stuff about COVID as well during the whole thing. Yes, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to find this, to be honest. It's just I'm looking at it, looking for a needle in a haystack right now. This is just a lot of videos from this guy. So I have no idea. Let me see it one more time. Let me try something. Let me see. Secret poll from the 90s. Let me see if that pops up.
Yeah, I was trying to see which one you were looking for. Yeah, but there's definitely a lot of different videos. But so yeah, I mean, if we're gonna stay, let's go back to the topic. You know, news and propaganda. So we cannot not talk about Donald Trump and
Oh
what his
yeah. Oh
campaign.
my God. He's the one who told everybody
Yeah, he's the
fake
one
news,
who
fake news.
told everybody about fake news. And this guy was the one throwing out the most fake news out of anybody, man. So, you know about Cambridge Analytica, Analytica, or something like that? You know about them?
No.
So, Cambridge Analytica is pretty much like a very unethical uh, data company. So what they do is find data on areas of people and what they search. Like, you know, if you're a Republican, Democrat, if you're fucking racist, if you're not a racist, if you're pro black, pro white, whatever it is, they find this information off of your phone, like, you know, through Facebook. And then what they do is now they put up propagandas, like, so like with Hillary Clinton, what they did, you know, devil, you know, oh, she hates white people, she's a Democrat, and all they did was flood these Facebooks with all this propaganda, all this fake news. Oh, she drinks kids' blood and all this other stuff. So literally, this data company, Cambridge or Analytica, would just sit there and then go on Facebook, look up people in the Midwest, because that's where he needed a lot of his votes, where like the Midwest, like, so they'll target where they need the most votes at, and they'll just flood those people's Facebook with fake news, like fake data, fake things that, you know, that are not right, and then all they will do is, you know, of the opposing person, and then they will have Donald Trump as well on there, America's greatest hero and all this other thing. So it shifts the minds of people. So they did this in two other countries. They did this in Africa, and they also did this in India, and they both got banned in both those countries. And then the person who hired Cambridge Analytica, whatever it's called, what they both end up winning the election for that person that hired them through data information. So literally, so that Cambridge company was literally full of fake news. So like, you know, Donald Trump says fake news. He got that from Cambridge, and most people don't even know that.
That's interesting.
Yeah,
I thought he was just saying it because CNN and everybody else always pumps out fake news, which is true
nah,
too.
nah. That's where he got it. He got it from Cambridge. So pretty much, like I said, like, you know, he was the king of fake news, bro. Like, and again, that company. So they couldn't find a way to charge him with like voter fraud. Pretty much, I guess is what you want to say. So what they end up saying, you know, what they end up doing was banning that company. So they banned them, and then they said, you know, what Trump did was ethically wrong. So they can't charge Trump with that as well. So like they couldn't like criminally charge Trump, but they said, you know, what he did was ethically wrong because he knew what they were doing.
Yeah, I don't see how they can lock him up for that.
Nah, that's 100% illegal, bro. You're manipulating, is voter manipulation. You're manipulating
Oh,
voters, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you're telling them fake information, like you're telling them non-facts. Because again,
I
like
mean, but what
Facebook,
what
you said
what
what?
politician did not do that? You know,
Not to the extent that Trump did.
I
No
think every
one's ever done
politician
it to,
lied
so
on
so
their campaign.
people would put it on like TV stations, but they didn't flood their phones with Facebook ads and their Instagram with Facebook ads. Like, so they need one, you know, the whole thing with Facebook, it's like super unethical having our information like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's super unethical what Facebook is doing. and like pretty much what they were doing with Cambridge was, they were buying our data from Facebook. So they were purchasing all our data that Facebook has captured, and they're putting that into their system, and then now they're flooding those people with fake ads, fake news, all that stuff. So it's like a difference of running it on a TV, and another difference of like every time you're sliding through Facebook, fake news.
Oh yeah, that's a good marketing strategy.
Oh yeah, amazing. Yeah, it's amazing. I mean, that's why they made so much money, and Trump paid them so much, man. So it's like,
Man,
why do you think? So why do you think Trump won by so much his first election, but his second election he didn't have Cambridge Analytic, whatever it's called.
I guess I don't know. There was a lot of weird controversy with. I don't. First off, I don't even know that many people who actually voted for Biden. So I don't understand how Biden got that many votes, more votes than anybody who's ever ran in previous times, which makes no sense to me.
Well, I mean, you're in
In a
Florida.
in a, I'm talking about like overall the whole country. Like he got more votes
Not mad
than
people wanted Biden, bro.
that's what I'm saying. Biden got more votes than anybody who ever ran before, which makes no sense to me because a lot of people didn't even know who the hell Biden was. You know what I'm saying? So it's like
I
that's crazy.
mean,
To me. So it's like you can't really believe any of the statistics, or I think it's all propaganda for every politician.
that is
Um,
that is true. I do say that, like
so because that's
when it
outrageous. Like, how did he get more votes than everybody who's ever run? More than Obama, the first black president. More than Bill Clinton. More than everybody who's ever ran before. More than nah, that makes no sense.
I
That
mean,
makes no sense.
people wanted a change from Trump, bro.
And dead people voting, all that crazy controversy, and people who
Yeah,
voted
they
that weren't
always
even
say that.
they
Yeah,
were
like dead
deceased.
people get into
I
votes and
mean, that's
stuff
what I'm
like
saying,
that.
and they literally changed the voting system just for that election with the whole ballots,
Yeah,
the whole way the ballots were run. They actually changed it a little bit, like so that people can like turn in multiple ballots and it'll be counted for. It was a weird
it was a
election
shit
in
show.
general. Whether it was weird for Trump or Biden, I think it was weird for both. Um, I don't think that's the best of America as representation in general. I think both of them have their flaws. I think what I do like about Trump, even though people call them racist and all that stuff, and I don't know if that's true. I really don't pay attention to all that and watch the videos of when he said racist things and actually backtrack it. I don't know. People just follow shit. I'm more of a person that I want to actually go and research it and see it for myself. Is he actually saying those things? When did he say them? How did he say it? What was the context?
He's
What
one
was said
hundred percent
before?
racist.
Like what was said before that
Yeah,
sentence and after. All that matters because people even do that to UFC fighters. They'll literally just take one sentence or one half of a sentence out of what they said in the interview and turn it to a big ass thing. And it's like,
yeah,
bro,
yeah. Nah,
but,
people do. But
so
the Central Park Five really fucked Trump on like trying not to be like
yeah, I
motherfucker
don't.
was
I
saying
mean,
crazy
like
shit,
I
bro.
said, I really don't know if he's racist or not. You know what I'm
Fuck
saying? I
nah,
don't
it's not a real.
know
There
Trump
is. He
personally.
is.
I don't- and it's hard to say someone's racist with like a limited amount of interviews, where he expressed what people said was racist. We're talking about not that many moments compared to like what you would actually judge a whole entire human being on. I'm just a very realistic individual. You
Nah,
know what I'm
yo,
saying? I'm
bro.
very,
He
very,
said, "Make
very
America
real.
great again." He wants America to go back how it was in the 1950s, 1960s. Central Park Five. He told them that they should hang, and they had no evidence on those guys, and there were fucking five black people. And he put out a whole ad to like pretty much lock these people. But yeah, I mean, nah, yeah,
I don't know.
there's
That's
no
what I'm
fake
saying. I
news
hear
about
these
Trump.
things like I hear these things, and maybe that that's right because maybe you saw him on that interview or whatever the hell it
Yeah,
was
yeah,
that
no, I
that
seen a lot.
maybe you saw it yourself, but I didn't see it, so I really don't know. Just
Yeah,
like I know a lot of people have never saw a lot of the positive like interviews that Trump had where he wasn't sounding like a fool and he was actually sounding like a responsible human being. They didn't see those videos either. So it's like I don't know. It's like one of those things where I don't know what to believe. You know what I'm
yeah.
saying?
I
I
think
don't know what to believe.
Trump is a very good marketer. That's what I think. He's a very
Well, I
good.
mean, we know he's a good businessman.
I
So,
know he's not a good businessman at all. He's a very good
well,
marketer. That's
Well,
what
I
it is.
mean, I don't know. For him to go bankrupt and then climb out of that hole and get back to being filthy rich,
Yeah, my man went
even though he
bankrupt
grew up
seven
with rich
times.
parents, what?
He went bankrupt 7 times. He's been
Yeah.
sued
So
mad
I mean, that's
times.
not easy. You know what I'm saying? That's not easy. I mean, yeah, it could say in a way that you're a fuck up, but in a way it could say, well, damn, you got some good qualities if you overcame it multiple times, which most people probably don't
Got
overcome
bailed
one
out by his
time.
parents. I mean, shit, of
So
course.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. So he has some good qualities to him. You know, the interest rates were lower than they ever been when he was a president. There's a couple of good things he did. You know, the Dow was going up, even though Dow was always going up. But at least it recovered fast during the pandemic, which I wasn't expecting 100%. I mean, there's a couple positives, and of course, you know, there's all these negatives that people talk about. But I really don't care about any of these last presidents. I think the only last great president we had was one that I wasn't even around for, which was JFK.
Yeah, yeah. I think that definitely. I'm with you on that one. I'm looking at some of the comments. I'm over here laughing. So subline was like, both sides are rigged. Voting is pointless. Practically two wings, but it's the same bird. Yeah, I definitely feel you on that comment. Voting, but I don't think voting is pointless. I think voting is definitely needed. But I can see how it does feel pointless because I haven't voted in like presidential
Yeah.
elections, so I get it. Like like you're like, man, I already know what's gonna happen. And nobody hated Trump until he got caught saying grab. No, people hated Trump way before that. But yeah, grabbing,
Grabbing
yeah,
pussy.
by grabbing by the pussy thing. Yeah, it was just so many things that Trump said that I mean he could have been great, but yeah, it's just like, even before the grabbing by the pussy, when he said, got on that stage and was like, "Oh, knock them all out," and then the white guy knocks out the black guy, and nothing happens to the white guy at his Trump rally. It was just, yeah, man, it was just a lot, man. Like, you know what I mean? It was a lot of racial things that he promoted and put out there, and it was just like, once or twice you got it, bro. Like, all right, cool. But like 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, it's like, come on, bro. Like,
Yeah.
come on.
No, I get it. I mean, that I
Yeah.
heard about that scenario, you know, where they said he excited, basically excited violence or whatever.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
look, at the end of the day, I mean, people say shit, right? All types of people. I guess, you know, he's just another human being. That he
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
yeah, maybe he shouldn't have said that. You know, maybe he didn't necessarily think it was going to lead to someone actually punching someone in the face. I don't know,
Yeah.
but uh, but the whole thing about voting, look, I want you to understand that it is all a setup. They want people to say just that. They
Yeah,
want people to be like, yo, voting is pointless. They want you to
yeah.
believe that because you are secretly, unconsciously getting rid of your right
Yes.
by thinking that way. You are unconsciously giving up your right, and unconsciously, even worse than that, unconsciously accepting a reality that you don't really want to live in, whereas
Yes.
your say doesn't matter. Your say
100%.
matters. You can create your own country because every country that's on this planet, every city, every country, every government was started once in the mind of one individual before it became multiple to create the country and the city and the group, the politician, political group or whatever. It all started in the mind of one individual. Everything that we see around us. So your say matters. Trust me, I was getting to that point. And coming from Jersey, coming from the hood, it's like such a common thing they say out there. Like, yo, don't even vote, man. I don't even care about voting, man. In the hood, nobody cares about voting, right? Like, no one. And it was so common where everybody would just say that, oh, they don't even count your vote, man. That's just rigged. No, nobody can. Like, that's such a defeated way of thinking. That's a defeated way of thinking. That's like a weak way of thinking. Like, yo, my say doesn't even count. I'm just living this in this country. Whatever happens, I'm just a victim to life. I'm not in control at all. And the whole point of creating these religions, these politics, these man-made laws, these weird beliefs that they're trying to instill in us is ultimately to take away as much power from us as possible, or that we allow, basically, because it's all like we're allowing it in a way. You know what I'm saying? Like no one's
Yeah.
coming by force. They're not doing what like Hitler did or any of these guys did. No, it's like a creative way. Like let's just dumb them down.
Hmm.
Let's dumb them down.
For
Let's
sure.
confuse them. Let's pump out all this propaganda, all this fake news. Let's make them not like Trump. Let's make them not like Biden. Let's make them go back and forth between this, because the more they do that, the more they're confused, the more they don't do anything with their life, and the more they never become truly happy in life, which is the biggest threat. With the biggest threat is that everybody becomes truly happy in life. That is the biggest threat to
Mhm.
this cabal, cult, whatever you want to call it. The biggest threat is everybody becoming happy in life. That's going to take forever. It might never happen, but
Yeah.
but at the end of the day, that's the biggest threat. So they want to just confuse people and make them all feel like they don't have any power in their life. Everything is just, they're just a victim. Everything just happens external. No, they're not in control of anything. Their success, they could blame this, they could blame that. This is against me. This is holding me back. The system is holding me back. Fuck that. You're in control. Don't
Yeah,
be a bitch.
nah, for sure. I mean, yeah, yeah. I mean, you definitely right, bro. Like, so it's like they've done a really good job at making this 12 inches, 14 inches, whatever it is on that phone, whatever size TV you got, 50 inch, 30 inch, 60 inch, 70 inch. You know, whatever you see on Facebook, they have done a really good job at making their word golden. Everybody else's word is shit. Even Google, man. Like, you think about this, like, me and you can have an argument. I'm never gonna believe what you say until I go to Google. And then people know Wikipedia and all this other shit is can be edited. Anybody can go in there and edit it. I can
And
literally
Google can show you whatever they want to show you first. You might be able to find the truth, but you got to go to page 55.
yes. And they know we're not gonna go to page 55. They know
Nah,
it. They know. They even know we're not even going to go to the second page of Google
we're
because the
not.
second page is discredited. Like, who goes to the second page?
Yeah,
Like, no.
yeah.
Anything past the first page is fake. You know what I
It's
mean?
fake news.
Like, it's fake news. Yeah. Like that's how good it is. I mean, you think about it. Like,
That's
have you ever
crazy,
looked
right?
up something and went past the second page?
Yeah, I mean, look, you know what I actually do? It's crazy. I do this even, like I do this with a lot of sites. Let's just say, right, man to man, right?
Yeah.
I'll you probably know what I'm talking about, but I'll start at like the 11th
Yeah.
and go
Yeah.
backwards
That's
and go
good.
back
Yeah, that's
and go
good. I mean, I never
because
even thought to do that, but yeah, that's
I do
good.
that because I just know already, like the people who are in the front, especially because I'm a marketer, had e-commerces and stuff like that, kind of know how it works. The people on the front are just the ones up front only because they paid the most, not because they got the best product, not
Yes.
because they got the best deal, not because they're the truth or fake. No, because literally they paid more. That's all it is. They paid more. They had more marketing dollars than
Mhm.
the other guys, so they're in the front two, 3 pages. The first 3 pages, if you're looking for a product, typically, yeah, you will find the better deal for sure. But you dig deep if you want real information, and you just gotta be careful, like what information you get out there. But here's the thing, though, just to chime in a little bit on what you were just saying, like the phone device, the TV device, right? All these devices they put that they let me just say they try to put against us
Mhm.
to control us, to control how we think. The same thing I tell my stepdaughter all the time when I see her scrolling. I say, "Yo, stop scrolling," because you're no longer in control at that moment.
Yeah.
You're letting something else dictate what is going to go on in your mind, what you're going to think about, and that's going to control how you feel, right? So stop. Don't get on and don't be scrolling. Look, I'm not perfect. I sometimes scroll, but I'm very good at that. I limit my scrolling. As soon as I find myself scrolling for like 2, 3 minutes, I'm done. Unless it's like a sport that I'm into, like MMA. I might scroll for a little bit, watch a couple of videos. You know what I mean? Just like anybody who's into like a sport or a favorite game or some shit. But this is what you got to do. You got to flip it on them. Now, one thing I realized about all the algorithms on Google or Instagram or Facebook is that for sure with COVID, no matter what, they're gonna try to pump it in front of you. Like no matter what video you watched, they were putting COVID in front of you. You could watch a fucking video about gaming, they're still gonna put a COVID thing on there somewhere, right? But you can still flip it on them. If you search more on your phone, like say Instagram, for example, Like you only follow pages of people who are successful, talking positive, talking about good stuff, money, whatever, this and that, positivity, health, whatever. Bro, all you're gonna see on your feed when you do decide to scroll is like reminders of like good ideas for business,
Yeah.
health. Like that's all I find now, bro. I'm finding
Yeah.
all
Same with
types of
me.
shit, bro.
Yeah.
All types of shit I'm finding every single day. So now my Facebook looks the same. If I see anyone talking crazy on Facebook, I'm just going to delete them. If they're
Yes.
too negative and they're too pessimistic about life, I I'm just literally look. Life is hard enough, so that's why I don't understand pessimistic people.
No.
Life
Yeah.
is already hard.
I'm
Life
with
is
you,
already
bro.
hard. Why the fuck are you making it harder? Like, makes no sense. So I delete those people. So now when I go to Facebook, I'm only gonna see what I want to see. Now when I go on YouTube, I'm gonna see things like, for sure, MMA because that's my sport, UFC. But you know what else I'm gonna see? I'm gonna see fucking Bob Proctor, Napoleon Hill, Earl Nightingale, Gary V. You know all these people, Tony Robbins, I mean, John C. Maxwell, Wayne Dyer. I'm gonna see all these people all the time on my feed, and I'm gonna just click on those videos. Why? Because it's in front of me.
Yeah.
So we can flip it on them, right, and use all these weapons of mass distraction. We can use it. We can use it and turn it into weapons of mass focus.
Yeah.
Like because of what I did on my social media platforms, and I always network and network and network every day to this day. I'm more focused than I ever been.
Hmm.
I got to-do lists right here. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm doing shit all the time to go forward because when I go on social media, I see other people grinding
Yeah.
and talking positive and saying this and saying that. And I'm like, yo, what the fuck? I gotta get going.
Yeah. Now you're absolutely right, man. You could definitely 100% switch it up on them. I mean, I say it to my daughter, I say it to my wife. Yo, like, why are you seeing something about MTV? Oh, like, you 30 fucking something old, man. Come on, like,
Bro,
yo,
I didn't
follow
even know
some fucking
MTV was around
motivation
still.
shit. You know what I mean? You said what?
No, I said I didn't even know MTV was still around, bro.
Yo, bro, tell me about it. Tell me about it. As a discussion with my wife, I'm like, yo, to watch that shit. Like, see that shit on with. She love her shows, man. I mean, like, but I tell people, like, I try to tell my daughter, like, don't follow that junk. Follow motivational. Follow, follow investments. Follow anything. Like, I don't see like a lot of that dumb stuff. Like, I get it in my messages because, like, on Instagram, I got a couple of friends, like we send each other like dumb videos and stuff like that. I mean, well, more than likely they send me dumb videos, and I always send them like all the old stuff. They're like, "Yo, bro, I seen it like 2 months ago." I'm like, "Yo, bro, look, I don't get stuff like that on my on my Instagram. When it does come up, I send it to y'all. Like I got a couple like idiot stuff on my Instagram and stuff, but mainly like man, if I scroll through my Instagram, it is strictly just motivational, business, investment. Just people talking positive. That's all I really see, like a family member or a friend. But even
And it helps.
ads, all the ads that I see are usually like about NFT, all this other shit.
Hmm.
Saying like
Yeah.
something involving the market, a new app to buy cryptocurrencies or a new app to buy stocks. Like that's mainly what I see. So I tell my family like all the time, like you're surrounded. Don't, don't let propaganda, fake news. Don't let that ruin your life, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because if it's up to them, yo, look, the world is burning. COVID's out of
Yeah, yeah.
control. Hey, look, we're at war with Ukraine, and it's World War III. You know, the Lord and Savior is about to come down next week and bring up to heaven all his saviors or whatever they call it. You know what I'm saying? Like that's how they're gonna have you thinking, man. And there's people out there that think that, man.
For
Okay?
real.
There's people out there that think the stock market is gambling, the cryptocurrencies is the devil, and people out there that just think motivational speakers are just lazy people. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's people out there that think that, man. Sad, sad world, bro. Like, you can't let them win. And I know you guys probably hear it's like you're like, man, who's them? It's them. If you don't know who them is, then you need to go find out who them is. Because I'm not gonna explain it to you here. Like, it's them. Don't let
The
them
Illuminati.
win. You know what I'm saying? Like that's all I can tell you, man. Like can't I can't sit here and I just don't have the patience to explain to people how most of you are being controlled. Most of you are brainwashed. A lot of you have the audacity to sit there and tell somebody else they're brainwashed. When motherfucker, you sitting here working for somebody else, making only 30, 40,000 a year, talking about something. Somebody makes 75,000 a year. You're like, oh my god, that's a lot of money. And you're gonna have the audacity to tell somebody else they brainwashed or whatever they're doing. What you're doing is right.
That's propaganda.
Yeah, that's propaganda.
That's
Cancel me,
propaganda.
whatever you want to do. What if you're sitting there following what the American dream was supposed to be? No offense, that's all I can say. You know what I'm saying?
100%. Well, look, I'm not going to, look, I think, for individuals like us, it can seem that way. But to regular, I guess to some regular people, that's just like that's like a major goal for them. You know what I'm saying? To just get married, have a house, a dog, picket fence, and a good stable job with benefits, and a college degree. To some people, that is the thing, And
No
look,
offense.
I mean, no offense, but that is somewhat of an old model
Yes,
that doesn't serve a purpose that much anymore, nowhere near as much as it did
old
before. We're not
field
in the
model.
industrial, yeah, we're not in the industrial era no more. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? So, it doesn't serve much of a purpose now, and what serves purpose now more, and what's growing right now is being a creative, free, independent, digital entrepreneur type thing. That's what's
yeah,
going on right now. That's kind of what's happening. It is what it is. But yes, it is propaganda that's still being pushed out there to this day, even though we're in a changing world. That is propaganda telling you that is the American dream.
yeah,
That is an old American dream. Okay, there's a new one now. All right,
yeah,
where you can just make $1 million off of selling some digital art while you're on the beach with your wife. That
yeah.
there's a new reality we live in right now, guys. Okay, things are crazy now. They're changing, but I guess we could just go ahead and wrap this up. I guess I'll wrap this up with this. Being that we're talking about propaganda, I want you guys to really I want to open your mind a little bit and make you and help you think, not make you help you think a little bit more realistic. Um, Propaganda, right, or news in general, because sometimes people don't know it's propaganda. They think it's real. They think it's the truth. But I want you to just really focus in on what you're here to do in your life. What is your purpose? What are your goals? What can you do for your family, for your next generation, your kids, and their goals, and help them realize their talents, and not just realizing your own, but how can you help others realize theirs, like your kids? Life has these things to focus on, and the propaganda or the real or fake news doesn't matter, even if it is real, even if Ukraine is invading Russia.
Hmm.
I want you to just think about this. Why waste brain power focusing on anything that doesn't serve a positive purpose for you or yours? And don't and this is the thing. If you're in a position of power, now if you're in a position of you're in the government, or you're a part of NATO, you know, or you're working somewhere in there, then yes, it makes sense that you would focus on it because you are living it. You are experience. You're part of that whole whatever that thing is, that whole dilemma. But if you're just a regular person, like for example, myself, digital entrepreneur, right? Not a soldier, not even an ex-soldier, nothing like that. Got nothing to do with any of that stuff at all. And I don't even know if it's real. Guess what? Why even take your precious energy that you have every day? Because you have a limited amount of energy. People don't realize that. I mean, it's unlimited energy, but you have a limited amount of energy within 24 hours. And you're going to put some of that into something that has no purpose. Like from now on, when it's news, fake news, real news, propaganda, sit there and actually think like, hold on. Should I even entertain this? Like, should I even think about this right now? Does this have anything to do with anything that I'm really doing in my life? Like, if is me thinking about this gonna help the situation? Is it gonna change the situation? If by me thinking about this is the war just gonna end or just not happen? No, no, nothing. You better go run for president, political office, join the military, go high rank somewhere, go do something. But if you're just a regular person like me, just trying to get it and live your life for you and yours, do me a favor and don't even waste your time thinking about or acknowledging or entertaining any of this stuff. Because the last thing you don't want to do is unconsciously give up more power because that's all they've been trying to do. So that's pretty much it for today's episode of Down the Rabbit Hole. I'm your host, Bruce Neal. This is your co host, Anthony Lucas. Two of the most controversial dudes out there. Guys, we like to go back and forth. Sometimes he has different views. I have different views, but you guys get both. You decide. You decide. You go down the rabbit hole. You do your due diligence. That's it for today's episode. Anthony?
That's it, man. I just want to say thank you again to all of you. And make sure you guys go follow our channel, man. Thank you again.